Mpinzani wako tena alitoboka na nini? Alitujenga vizuri.
Elimu ya kitaaluma, wanafunzi kitambo walihitaji kalamu na kitabu peke yake. Ilhali sai elimu ya ufundi, wanafunzi sasa wanahitaji vifaa kama vile simu, tarakilishi na vinginevyo.
Wanafunzi wa mtaala huu huweza kupata ushiriki katika mtandaoni au kazi ya kitaalamu duniani.
Badala kusema dada unasema ndanda. Hilo ni kosa la nini?
Matamshi.
From Happyland Greenspan Chess Club. I've been playing for 2 years now. Chess is important for being smart, creativity, decision making, and maturing in feelings.
If you go to the park or to a forest that is near you, what animal are you most likely not going to miss seeing?
Today I'm
going to show you how to make meatballs.
Wanyama tutasifia kwa nderemo na bashasha. Wanyama fahari yetu, daima tuwatunzeni.
Good afternoon to you from wherever you're watching this live broadcast from, and thank you so much for choosing KBC Channel 1 to inform you. I'm Doreen. Arange Lensa Odengo is our sign language interpreter. We begin this live broadcast with a quick look on what is happening in Kisumu County with regards to transgenerational conversations that center on peace, security, and preventing violent extremism. My colleague Abdiaziz Hashim is there. Hashim, bring us up to speed with the very latest in Kisumu County with regards to matters on transgenerational conversations. Give us an overview of what is happening in Kisumu. Remember that as Channel 1, we have covered 2 counties so far. That was Marsabit as well as Nairobi. Just issues that borders around the youth as well as the older generation, trying to get a middle ground between these 2 generations. In a little while, we shall be getting to hear what Hashim has for us in respect to this from Kisumu County. But meanwhile, we continue to inform you on the very latest that is shaping the news this afternoon. And the government of Kenya has taken a major step towards achieving universal health coverage with the official launch of Taifa Care and the digital health transformation agenda in Nyandarua County. Speaking at the event, Health CS Aden Duale described Taifa Care as a revolutionary approach to healthcare financing that ensures no Kenyan is left behind, offering tailored health coverage for employed, informal workers and the vulnerable citizens in the community. Governor, His Excellency Dr. Moses Badilisha commended the national government's commitment to strengthening healthcare delivery at the grassroots. He reiterated his administration's dedication to ensuring the successful implementation of Taifa Care within the county, noting that digital transformation and strong health financing systems will greatly enhance the dignity and well-being of residents.
we would want to consider additional CHPs from the current 1237 to around 1,500, so that every mwananchi in all corners of this county can begin to get service of the CHPs, who are doing a very good job.
We are sending a team, Governor, next week, the regulators, the people who will tell us this facility requires this and this and this for it to be upgraded. A number of your other facilities that you wanted to be upgraded to level 4, they will also look at it. I promise you that.
County governments have been put on the spot of unrealistic strategies in generating their own revenue to meet their budgetary requirements. The Budget Implementation Review report by the Office of the Controller of Budget paints a grim picture of the income shortfalls and how a majority of counties have dipped into the Facilities Improvement Fund to finance their expenditure, which is posing a risk to their financial sustainability. The report also reveals that pending bills soared to 176.8 billion shillings, with over half of the debt being below 3 years old. Kamchemenza with the details.
Yet another financial year, devolved units have failed to meet their financial target of 87.67 billion shillings in own source revenue. And though in the financial year 2024-2025, the county governments generated 67.3 billion shillings from local revenue sources, being an increase compared to 41.4 billion shillings realized in 2023-2024 financial year, the Office of the Controller of Budget is warning that the increase may not be as rosy owing to the factors behind it. Controller of Budget says counties over-relied on the Facility Improvement Fund, which completely lacked budgeting. Under-budgeting, revamped revenue streams, and the increased automation of revenue collection processes. With the Facility Improvement Fund having accounted for over 50% of on-source revenue, the trend could pose a risk to financial sustainability. The Controller of Budget says counties need to come up with realistic strategies to expand on-source revenue. The counties that exceeded their annual local revenue collection targets include Kisii, Tana River, Mandera, Wajir, Kirinyaga, Garissa, Vihiga, Samburu, Meru, Elgeyo Marakwet, and Homa Bay. Nairobi City County, Kakamega, Kisumu, Bungoma, Taita Taveta, Isiolo, Machakos, Kajiado, and Siaya remained below the performance threshold of 70%. With devolved units still grappling with effective budget execution, the glaring challenges remain: high arrears of 124.95 billion shillings that exacerbate fiscal pressures, pending bills that soared to 176.8 billion shillings, with over half being below 3 years old. Development expenditures remaining alarmingly low, with 23 counties failing to meet the 30% threshold. Kamchemenza.
One person died and 9 others were injured in a road accident along the Migori-Isibania highway. The collision, which happened early Thursday in Kuria West, involved a Probox vehicle and a trailer. According to police, the driver of the Probox vehicle died on the spot, while 9 passengers sustained injuries and were rushed to nearby hospitals for treatment. According to witnesses, the Probox, which was headed in the opposite direction, rammed into the trailer in what they describe as a high-impact collision. Kuria West Police boss Ruben Bet confirmed that a formal investigation has been launched as efforts to confirm the identities of the victims continue. He urged motorists to exercise caution. We're working on that story in a little short while. Again, that will be coming your way. And now, a public service, human capital development and special programs cabinet secretary Geoffrey Ruku has called for the strengthening of legislative frameworks and promotion of community-based alternatives to incarceration. The CS says that this will act as means of addressing challenges facing Africa's correctional service systems. Speaking during the African Commission Human and People's Rights Standards in Correctional Systems consultative workshop here in Nairobi County, Ruku says improving prisons conditions is fundamentally tied to broader governance issues that are integral to reducing prison populations. Sentiments shared by the National Commission, Department of Correctional Services, South Africa, Embakasi, Samuel. The 3-day level meeting has brought together chiefs of correctional services from 14 African countries. All right, before again we run by you that story, now let's head over to Mandera County, where the Northeastern Regional Commissioner John Otieno has assured Mandera residents of the government's unwavering commitment to protect Kenya's territorial integrity and maintain peace along the Kenya-Somalia border. This comes amid concerns raised by locals over a surge of insecurity cases as a result of clashes across the border. The commissioner, who refuted claims of foreign forces in the region, assured more security agencies will be deployed on the border to intensify patrols and safeguard the area. His visit to the area comes amid heightened tensions between Jubaland forces and the Somali National Army on the Somali side of the border, sparking fears of spillover violence into Kenya.
The security team in Mandera County, together with the regional security team, are very keen in ensuring that there is adequate security in Mandera County and other counties that are in this region. To that effect, we have adequate security personnel deployed in Mandera town, in all the sub-counties in this county, and the security teams are doing a good job.
Now let's check that story again on correctional services, where public service, human capital development and special programs cabinet secretary Geoffrey Ruku has called for strengthening of legislative frameworks and promotion of community-based alternatives to incarceration. The CS says that this will act as a means of addressing challenges facing Africa's correctional systems. Speaking during the African Commission Human and People's Rights Standards in Correctional Systems consultative workshop here in Nairobi, Ruku says improving prisons condition is fundamentally tied to broader governance issues that are integral to reducing prison populations. Sentiments shared by the National Commissioner, Department of Correctional Services, South Africa, Embakasi, Samuel. The 3-day high-level meeting has brought together chiefs of correctional services from 14 African countries.
The Charter reminds us that the deprivation of liberty must not result in deprivation of rights. It challenges us to ensure that the standards of humane treatment are upheld indiscriminately.
This session is not just a platform for dialogue, but it is a call to action. Let us seize the rare opportunity to engage meaningfully, exchange practical solutions, and reaffirm our collective commitment to reform.
Correctional facilities must not only contain, they must transform. They must prepare individuals for reintegration, strengthen families, and contribute to social fabric of our nations. This requires more than policy. It requires change of mindset. It requires change of heart.
These are not only about infrastructure upgrades, they must importantly address legal safeguards, protection from all sorts of ill treatment, access to justice, and the mental and physical well-being of all prisoners. As Chief of Correction Services entrusted with the management of these institutions, your leadership is very important. It's pivotal.
We now turn the crack to Kisumu County, the venue for the third edition of the Transgenerational Conversations that center on peace, security, as well as preventing violent extremism, and also just borders on getting that middle ground between the young and the old generation. Our very own Abdiaziz Hashim has been there since yesterday. Hashim, if you can get me, what else are you gathering from Kisumu County with regards to these issues affecting the young people?
Well, you're correctly right there, Doreen Arange. We are coming to you live from the Mama Grace Cultural Center that was formerly a social hall named after that pioneering politician woman hailing from this particular part of the country, that is Mama Grace Onyango. And of course, it will be the key center that will be hosting tonight's edition of the third edition, that is, of the Transgenerational Conversation. The sixth, of course, to what you've just said, to bring all the generations under one roof to have a discourse for the country's future. And of course, this will be the penultimate stage of the Transgenerational Conversation in the backdrop of what will be happening on the weekend, especially when it comes to the International Day of Peace that seeks to, of course, promote peace and non-violence globally. This year's theme will be Act Now for a Peaceful World. Now, that will set the stage for us. Of course, this particular program will be aired live on KBC Channel 1 exactly at 7:30 all the way to 9 p.m. And our very own partners, that is the National Cohesion and Integration Commission, the United Nations Development Program, UNDP, the Korean International Cooperation Agency, KOICA, will be present for these particular discussions that are very vital. Also, the county government of Kisumu, led by the governor, that is Professor Anyang' Nyong'o, will be present for this particular discussion. Also, national government Ngao officers for that particular matter. This particular journey started in Marsabit County that shaped the start of this conversation that was aiming to bridge a gap between the two generations, name them Gen Z, Millennials, and Gen X, and the Bloomers as well. For this particular conversation, went to Nairobi County, was the second edition, and now the third edition will be here in Kisumu County. Of course, from Kisumu, this particular caravan will be heading over to the western part of the country. But tonight, the keen focus will be on bridging that particular gap between the two generations, especially between the Gen Zs and the people who are governing this particular country. That is the government led by President William Ruto and the 47 devolved units across the country. Very vital, as I told you. It comes in the backdrop of the International Day of Peace that is marked every year on the 21st of September 2025 to promote peace and non-violence globally. And of course, this year's theme will be having a peaceful world. Act now and have a peaceful world. That is the conversational that we'll be having later on. So I just want to ask our viewers to join us at that particular hour. But for now, I want to hand you over back to my colleague Doreen Arange.
Thank you very much, Abdiaziz Hashim, for that. And remember that conversation begins at 7:30 p.m. today. So stick around to just get a clear picture of how to bridge that gap between the old and the young. And now one person died and 9 others were injured in a road accident along the Migori-Isibania highway. The collision, which happened early Thursday in Kuria West, involved a Probox vehicle and a trailer. According to police, the driver of the Probox vehicle died on the spot, while 9 passengers sustained injuries and were rushed to nearby hospitals for treatment. According to witnesses, the Probox, which was headed to the opposite direction, rammed into the trailer in what they describe as a high-impact collision. Kuria West Police Boss Ruben Bett confirmed that a formal investigation has been launched as efforts to confirm the identities of the victims continue. He urged motorists to exercise caution.
Trailer ilikuwa inatoka upande wa Sirari boda, ikatelemka kuja hivi, ikakutana hapa kwa daraja katikati kabisa, wakagongana na Probox ana kwa ana. Kuna watu kadhaa wamekufa, wale majeruhiwa wamepelekwa hospitali.
Ningeomba katika hii daraja, hii sehemu, hii daraja imekuwa kwenye kona. Unapotoka upande wa Isibania, hata kama ukiwa na gari kubwa, Hii sehemu inatakikana iwekewe pumps, kwa sababu ile pumps inasaidia saa zingine unatoka juu ukiwa na mwendo wa taratibu. Watusaidie, watuwekee pumps kama hata ni 2.
Tuomba serikali itubanulie hii daraja ikuwe kubwa. Hii daraja ni finyu. Juzi tumepoteza watu wa muhimu na wakapoteza maisha, hata miezi 5 ijaisha. Tena leo hii imetokea. Tunaomba serikali itusaidie kwa hili jambo, itubanulie hii daraja ikuwe pana, ni pana sana, itubanulie daraja.
Deputy Commissioner for Kajiado North, Yusuf Mohammed, has underscored the necessity of collaboration between security agencies and the community to effectively tackle crime. This follows reports on a surge in murders and robberies over the past 3 months. Locals say more than 5 people have lost their lives in attacks by a gang of robbers, while commercial establishments and homes have been ransacked, resulting in the theft of property.
Syrian kumekuwa na visanga nyingi, mauaji, na siku ya leo tunayo furaha kwa maana tumepata mahali tutakuwa tukikimbilia ili hii shida iweze kutuondokea.
Mkutano wa leo itatufaidisha sana kama wataungana pamoja ili waweze kuongeza ulinzi unayotosha.
Na hivyo naomba serikali yetu ya Kajiado wakiungana pamoja na askari wetu hapa Syrian watusaidie kabisa ili tuweze kukomesha mambo yanaendelea kwa sasa.
Mlango mmoja tumeweza kufungua ili pia sisi kuja karibu kwa wananchi. Wananchi pia wajue viongozi ni kina nani anaweza kumfikia kama ako na ujumbe ama ako na habari yoyote ama ako na shida yoyote, nani anaweza kumfikia. So tumekuja kujitambulisha kwao, wao watujue na sisi tuwajue, na pia kuwafungulia milango kwamba wao wakati wote watakapokuwa wako na jambo lolote waweze kutufikia wakati wote.
Kenyan scholars and media leaders have welcomed the global governance initiative recently proposed by China, describing it as a timely roadmap for building a more just, equitable and inclusive world. Unveiled earlier this month, the initiative has garnered strong support from the Global South. Speakers held the view that it empowers Africa not merely as a participant, but as an active architect of a new world order based on dialogue, sovereignty and shared prosperity.
Earlier this month, Chinese President Xi Jinping proposed the Global Governance Initiative, GGI, to strengthen and enhance global governance in the face of rapid changes and unprecedented challenges. At a symposium hosted by the CGTN Nairobi studio, speakers concurred that this latest proposal from Beijing provides practical solutions to global issues, including climate change, inequality, security, and development. In her remarks, Li Yanji, the director of CGTN Nairobi studio, stated that GGI reflects the world's shared aspiration for fairness, inclusivity and multilateral cooperation.
Kwa sasa dunia yetu inakabiliwa na changamoto kubwa za amani na usalama, maendeleo endelevu na ukuaji wa kiuchumi jumuishi. Changamoto hizi haziwezi kushughulikiwa bila mazungumzo, kuheshimiana na ushirikiano wa kimataifa. Afrika kwa nguvu zake na uwezo wake mkubwa ni mshirika muhimu katika kuunda mustakabali wa usimamizi wa dunia.
Professor Patrick Muthengi Maluki of the University of Nairobi described the initiative as a framework grounded in fairness and cooperation.
The Global Governance Initiative, introduced by President Xi Jinping at the SCO Summit earlier this month in Tianjin, is not simply a diplomatic proposal. It is a vision for addressing the profound transformation and shared challenges of the 21st century.
The Global Governance Initiative explicitly champions a multipolar world where every nation, regardless of its size or economic clout, has a seat at the table. It calls for reforming international institutions to be more representative. And this is not just an abstract concept, it's actually a matter of practical necessity.
In the media sector, Grace Njenga, director of a local TV station, emphasized the vital role of journalists in amplifying Africa's voice and promoting dialogue.
Through comprehensive, objective, and constructive reporting, the media can help the public better understand the significance and value of initiative, foster mutual understanding and trust among nations, and contribute to building a favorable public opinion environment.
The speakers argue that the Global Governance Initiative aligns with Africa's aspirations for development, sovereignty, and stronger representation in world affairs.
Security in North Laikipia region has been beefed up following the construction of 2 outposts manned by Kenya Police Reservists and security teams employed by Mayanat Conservancy. The officers at the outpost are expected to enhance patrols as part of efforts to fight cattle rustlers who take advantage of the Conservancy to steal and take livestock to the neighboring counties of Samburu and Isiolo. Laikipia North MP Sarah Paulata Korere has urged all departments to ensure thorough vetting of police reservists. Laikipia Governor Joshua Irungu has pledged to invest more funds and work with all stakeholders to upgrade the roads for ease of movement.
Hakuna vile tutaandika NPI. Mimi naenda nasukumana national government tunapewa bunduki ya NPI. NPR wakiandika ole naisho ati unaenda mpaka Baragoi kutafuta NPR. Please, because some people can end up being a security threat. You go bring a person, you don't know their background, you don't know who they are talking to, you are harassed by cattle rustlers day in and day out because they have insiders amongst ourselves.
Tumeongea na Leimpaira, tumeongea na Mheshimiwa Shoel, na mimi nikapiga simu moja pili na tukasema tutatoa mafuta ile yeyote itahitajika kufungua hizi mabarabara zetu and sana sana mambo ya security road.
Scientists from Kenya and Israel have developed freshwater prawns that will help deal with snails and parasites that have been a major challenge to rice farming and health of locals in Moya irrigation scheme. The prawns developed by KBC in collaboration with the government of Israel will feed on the snail eggs, ending their breeding cycle, which will in turn stop the spread of bilharzia. The invention, which is being tested in Moya, if successful, will be rolled out across the country. Joseph Wahungu was in Mwea and brings us that story.
For rice farmers in Mwea, the last 5 years have been a nightmare. Since the arrival of the golden apple snail, harvests have plummeted. Some farmers report losing up to half their yields as snails shoot through young rice shoots.
Sina madhara mingi juu hata kukata mtu juu wakikufa wanaacha cell kwa samba. Kijaribu kucontrol unakuta zimekata kabisa, unavuna kama gunia 20 hivi.
But the menace is not only economic. The same wetlands that host rice farming is a breeding ground for snails that transmit bilharzia, a disease that affects over 10 million Kenyans.
Biasa hapa ni tangu zamani. Mimi familia yangu tumeazikwa na tukanywa hizi matembe.
Traditionally, we have relied on mass drug administration using praziquantel to treat bilharzia. However, praziquantel, you treat and then there's an infection. So you treat individuals, they go back to infested waters, catch the infection, so it becomes a vicious cycle.
Against this backdrop, scientists have resorted to using freshwater prawn to fight both challenges.
We know that this problem of the apple snails invading the rice fields has arrived here to Kenya in the past 5 years, and it's not only here, it's also in other countries in the region, as Uganda and probably Tanzania as well.
Bred in monosexual population to ensure they do not become invasive, these prawns are fed on both the apple snail destroying the rice and the bilharzia carrying snails, threatening community health.
We have some examples with a disease that we were treating in fish pond in aquaculture, in which the prawn is very effective in reducing the amount of snails in the ponds and the prevalence of the disease.
The project, developed in partnership with KBC and supported by the Israeli Ministry of Agriculture, could transform farming not only in Kenya but across the region as the country moves away from rain-fed agriculture.
Behind me, these rice paddies for long have been threatened by invasive snails and a disease that continues to affect millions of Kenyans. Today, scientists from Israel and Kenya are testing an innovative solution which, if successful, will transform public health but also boost food production. Reporting for KBC Channel 1 News from Mwea, Kirinyaga County, my name is Joseph Ohungu.
Thank you, Joseph Wahungu, for that report. Now, church and political leaders have been urged to spearhead peace initiatives in the country and the entire region. The chairman and founder of the Academy of Universal Global Peace, AUGP, His Eminence Dr. Prof. Gadhu Krishan, at the same time, urged the youth to use social media positively by using the same space to preach peace and build inclusive societies. Meanwhile, the Academy of Universal Global Peace Movement will host a mega ministerial conference at the KICC from 18th to 19th this month. The theme of the conference will be lifting standards and fostering community dialogue, promoting reconciliation and mediating conflicts.
The theme of this conference is raising standard. The agenda is to raise the standard in the body of Christ. And therefore we have great leaders, pastors, for the East African pastors. So it's more about training and learning and also allowing the Holy Spirit to do his work. So all are welcome.
You wouldn't want to miss. Why are we having this conference? It's because we believe that there is need to bring a shift in attitude and a mindset and understanding the best way of bringing direction to the next generation. Secondly, it is also of great importance that we talk about theological education. You know, many pastors are in ministry, but they are not trained.
Why there should be conflict, denominational barriers and partition walls on this earth planet? Let us dwell in peace. We are the role models. Our ultimate goal from last 40 years is through such educational program, teaching and training program to the leaders, the Christian leaders, top leaders, we have been training and transforming them to go back to their respective countries and train others. The gospel of peace to the world, to the earth planet. Thank you.
It is 1:30 p.m. due for our first break. Plenty more on the other side.
Positive change is not always sudden. Sometimes it is achieved after a long period. What matters is the effort we put individually or as a group.
Most companies, you'll find that they are not employing persons with disability, which is a sad fact.
Tunalenga kupata vijana ambao wako na ulemavu ili waweze kupitia what we call inclusive internship program. Wakipata hizo skills ama taaluma waweze kujisimamia.
Sisi wawili hatujalipwa masiski. Some of us tuko na boyfriends. Unaona? Hatutegemei salary ya hapa.
What? Mbona fuata mzee hivi sana?
Mind your own business. Pilipili sela kwa shanini.
Masi, do you know how long I've worked for this family? Najaribu kufika huko juu alafu unakuja tu hapo unataka kuniharibia.
Mutani stress.
Kwenda huko. Naitwa Nairobi. Hapa mmejezo. Get your 150. Kisaka. Get your 150.
Welcome back. The national and county governments have been called upon to launch a civic education program aimed at empowering widows and orphans across the country with knowledge of their inheritance rights following the death of their dependents. And this comes as reports emerge that many widows and orphans end up losing their rightful inheritance despite their deceased dependents leaving behind property. Speaking at Church of God in Emusatsa, Huisero constituency during a fundraiser to support youth and widows, philanthropist Richard Litunya urged both levels of government to prioritize civic education. He also emphasized that such knowledge is crucial in helping citizens understand the legal framework that can protect them during difficult times. Grace Awinja, the chairperson of widows in Huisero constituency, outlined the daily struggles faced by widows in the region.
Poteza morali ya kuishi mpaka wanapata wako mahali wamejihurumia, manake hawana mtu wa kuwajali. Hawa wajane wanafaa wajue ya kwamba kukufa kwa wazee wao haikuwa mwisho wao wa maisha.
Wajane wanasumbuliwa hata na mashemeki yao kwa shamba. Hawa wajane hawana title deed za shamba zao. Mashemeki wanafuruti yao chini kabisa. Hawa wajane chakula kupata ni ngumu.
Unapata hata kama ameachiwa mali ya mzee wake, kuna uwezekano wa kunyang'anywa na wale wanaitwa in-laws ama mandugu za bwana, madada wote.
Residents of Naimaral village in Samburu County can now access water after enduring a long time of scarcity, and this follows the drilling of boreholes in the area by the Ewasani Road North Development Authority. The area MP, Eli Ketipila, said the initiative is also a way of peace building from conflicts that arise due to lack of water. He assured the residents that more water projects have been scheduled in the area.
Wahifadhi wengi wamejaribu, lakini sasa ndio tumefaulu, tumepata maji ambayo inatosha hii community.
Watu wanapigana sana kwa sababu ya resources ya maji na nini, so we are working towards kuleta karibu so that we try solving that issue katikati ya pastoralists.
Over 30,000 residents from Kirinyaga County are set to benefit from improved access to clean water following the launch of 42 new water projects across the county. The projects covering all 20 wards will include drilling boreholes, installing solar systems, extending pipelines, and rehabilitating water intakes. According to County Executive for Water and Irrigation James Kinywa, these initiatives are expected to reduce pressure on communities and improve agriculture output.
Quality water is part of offering that dignified service to the people of Kirinyaga. And that is why we are committed to digging and drilling boreholes. Last year we have 6 boreholes and other water projects.
Tangu hii borehole tuchimbiwe imekuwa ikisaidia wanakijiji sana. Inasaidia zaidi ya watu 1,200 hivi, na imesaidia sana kwa sababu wakati wa kiangazi kama Januari, February, March hivi, wakati hivi visima vya watu zinaisha maji pamoja na mito, watu wamekuwa wakisaidika sana na hii borehole, manake hakuna siku hii borehole huwa inakosa maji.
Hundreds of families and traders in Bokoli, Webuye West are set to benefit from a clean water supply following the revitalization of the Sawa Water Project made possible by Inua AI Group. Residents noted that the multi-million shillings county government initiative was initially transferred to the community in 2023, but soon faced operational challenges. Inua AI Group CEO Humphrey Muchuma said that project restoration will ensure that beneficiaries no longer need to travel long distances in search of water for their daily needs.
Licha ya kwamba ni mradi wa county government, lakini walikuwa wamehand over kwa community. Na vile ilikuwa imeharibika, community ilikuwa haina uwezo ya kuweza kurekebisha makosa yenye ilikuwa imepatikana hapa.
Wakazi wote wa mji huu, shule za hapa zinakunywa maji haya.
tunashukuru Mwenyezi Mungu. Tunamshukuru Mwenyezi Mungu kwa sababu ya Humphrey Mchuma, kwa sababu ameweza kutuletea maendeleo katika mji huu.
Na sisi kama viongozi ndio tunafaa kuwapatia mwelekeo. Janafaa kutembea na watu nje hapa nchini na ngambo kuleta msaada. Kusaidia watoto wetu wasiende nje, hata tuintroduce hiyo programu yetu si wenyewe. Constituency ya chakula kwa shule.
Rai OCPD Martin Wekesa has raised the alarm of rising cases of insecurity in Rai and its environs, warning that unresolved land ownership wrangles within the Embakasi ranching company are fueling violence and lawlessness. Wekesa says that unless the disputes are urgently addressed, the situation risks spiraling further out of control.
The scramble for land within the expansive Embakasi ranch company has once again spilled into open violence. Unknown groups have been invading farms, forcefully allocating parcels, and in some cases leaving residents with life-threatening injuries. Julius Mwangi is among the latest victims, attacked on his way to his farm and left nursing serious injuries.
Wakaanza kunivamia na mapanga, wakanikatakata mikono, mwili yote, kwa kichwa. Hii kichwa yangu ilikuwa na rasta, imejaa madent. Nilikaa miezi 3 hospitalini. Nilikatakatwa kichwa kimejaa madent. Mwili imejaa madent, vidole zilikuwa zimewekwa chuma, hata zikunjiki.
Other residents bore scars from previous clashes, the wounds of a conflict that dates back decades, with leadership wrangles and double allocations fueling tension.
Niambia, ukikimbia tu, ukijaribu kukimbia, mimi nakumaliza. Juu ya bunduki unaona singefanya kitu, nikasimama. Kusimama akakuja akanirukia, akanipiga teke ya kifua, nikaanguka. Vile nilianguka akasema ua hiyo kasia. Mimi kusikia kuua, wakaanza kunishambulia na vijiko. Mimi nikalala na tumbo. Sasa nikazuia kichwa. Sasa wakanipiga mgongo na vijiko, wakanikataka. Walikuwa na mpaka na masirasha.
At the center of the storm are two rival offices, each claiming legitimacy, each accused of issuing title deeds and subdividing land.
Ni vijana na wazee wameanza kuingilia shamba za wenyewe, na watu wanajiita wata Wandeli na Gitonga. Wametuzumbua mpaka tunashindwa tufanye nini. Tumeenda polisi, wametusaidia, na wawachi wanaenda kunyaganya watu mashamba zao. Na hii shamba ilipeanwa miaka na miaka ni mheshimiwa Muhuri Muchiri.
Embakasi, we do not have such 30 by 40. Our plots are 100 by 100. We have said this very, very many times. And please, don't be cheated by people. Don't go and buy. We have documents here to show that fake titles are being taken by those people.
The disputed land, stretching over 14,000 acres between Choka and Kamulu, was first distributed to 3,500 shareholders in 1973. Today it has become the epicenter of violent invasions, with more than 200 youths recently storming the Cheleni area, armed with surveyors and tape measures.
Walio na nia ya kitu kama hicho ni bodi ambayo ilifutiliwa mbali, ambao wamekataa kung'atuka ofisini na watumia njama zote na mbinu zote kujaribu kuona kwamba wanazambaratisha hayo mabadiliko.
Unity na goons, bodi yetu iliyoko sasa, hakuna shamba inapea mtu anaitwa non-member. Kwa hivyo hatuna haja yeyote kuweka goons kwa ground. Na yeyote anaendai kuwa tuna goons ni wale walipeana mashamba zetu kwa non-members, wakazipeana kiholela horela, na sasa imefika wakati wanahisa wadai haki yao.
Area OCPD Martin Wekesa confirmed that several files have been forwarded to the Office of Director of Public Prosecutions pending directions on whether suspects will face charges in court.
Ukiangalia kwamba mwenye kukata na mwenye kukatana yote wanakaa kama ni goons. Hakuna mtu anataka kufuata sheria. Hata yule mwenye ameumizwa hafuatilii kesi yake, anatoroka. Lakini tunahimiza kama umeumia, afadhali uje tusaidia na wewe tupate mwenye kuumiza, hata kama ni grupu yako na amekuumiza, ndio tuweze kuleta adabu, watu wafuate sheria badala ya kuishi kama wanyama.
Ben Chumba, Lunchtime News.
We now get the latest in the world of business, and savings and credit cooperatives should consider reducing their dividends payout and instead capitalize their SACCOs. Kenya National Police deposit-taking SACCO chairperson David Mategwa says high dividend payout is eating into amounts available for lending. Mategwa is also challenging SACCOs to enhance financial literacy programs targeting the youth to equip young people with the knowledge and skills to make informed financial decisions.
Educate your members. So education is very, very important. That you educate your members, it is important for them to understand that dividend should not be the benchmark of a performing organization, of a performing SACCO. It is the way the service you deliver to the members is what should be the benchmark. How fast can I take a loan? If I want a loan today, I want 5 million from Police SACCO, how long will it take me to get it?
Education sector stakeholders are allaying fears that the growing use of artificial intelligence will render people jobless. Management University of Africa former Vice-Chancellor Professor Washington Okeyo is instead urging Kenyans to embrace technology for enhanced efficiency and effectiveness of operations. Professor Okeyo is appealing to those in academia to use artificial intelligence in a more responsible manner.
Intelligence tools first surfaced in Kenyan universities, many academics strongly discouraged their use, fearing they would promote exam malpractice and replace human effort. But now the tide has turned.
The thing is, artificial intelligence is coming in to introduce a lot of efficiency, a lot of effectiveness, and importantly, speed and accuracy with which data is being processed. And this cuts across the entire management system, the entire health sector, social sector, and all sectors of a country's economy.
You cannot learn the same way we used to learn. You have to make the learning interactive. It is only artificial intelligence which will allow you to be that innovative, to interact with the learners wherever they are.
Speaking during the Management University of Africa's Technology and AI conference, Professor Okello said technology has proven to be an invaluable tool in research, learning, and administration.
It is important that we use artificial intelligence to improve on our processes, to improve on accuracy, to improve on effectiveness of the processes and the product that we are producing as a university, and of course as the entire academic sector.
As scholars, we need to also move with speed to see how we can accommodate artificial intelligence, but albeit ethically.
They, however, acknowledge that the technology can be misused, but argue that the benefits far outweigh the risks if students and institutions are guided on ethical use. Trevor Ngendo for Lunchtime News.
Kenya is hosting the first Waste Electrical and Equipment Innovation Summit to amplify calls for more commitments in addressing the growing challenge of e-waste management. Delegates are being sensitized on electric waste collection models, scalable business solutions, and recycling technologies. Even though Kenya generates 80,000 tons of electric waste annually, only 2 licensed facilities formally recycle 400 tons, leaving the rest to be managed by informal actors with limited equipment or disposed without proper safeguards.
The EPR legislation passed here in Kenya, which is the legislation extended producer responsibility, which holds producers of waste accountable, or producers of the products accountable for their waste. And that's a really big chance to start professionalizing and growing the recycling sector here.
They should not see EPR as a cost to it, but they should see EPR as something that is coming in to support their sustainability.
All the informal sector is very big here. So we need to kind of formalize the informal sector a little, appreciate what they're doing, what they're bringing to the value chain, because most of e-waste and other waste is recycled by informal recyclers.
Some people, especially the informal sector, they go for them to make a living. They dismantle these e-waste and then they extract the precious items. Incidentally, the precious items are very few.
A technical committee has been constituted to oversee preparation for construction of the proposed 700 megawatts high Grand Falls project in eastern Kenya. Energy PS Alex Washira says the high-level team is at an advanced stage of formulating land acquisition modalities for the 340 billion shillings dam.
Kenya's peak electricity demand has risen to 2,363 megawatts on 7th of last month, powered by increased demand due to increased power connectivity. Energy Principal Secretary Alex Washira projects electricity demand to continue rising due to the ongoing last-mile connectivity project targeting 1 million households. To enhance electricity generation, a technical committee has been constituted to oversee construction of the multi-purpose High Grand Falls Dam.
We are running short of time. We do need that power plant, and that is why we are putting up a high-level team to finalize how do we develop the High Grand Falls Dam.
We have extra energy, electricity energy. It will attract other investors and our economy will grow. Anybody who is serious and who wants to set up a huge power, manufacturing plant or whatever they want to put in, the first question, PS, I know, is how much power is available for us.
Land acquisition is among issues the technical team is exploring.
On cost, because that is the main issue with the High Grand Falls Dam, land acquisition, so that we leave the SPV, Kengen and alternative financing to do the dam itself and generate power.
Once complete, the High Grand Falls Dam will be the fourth largest dam in Africa, generating 700 megawatts.
JAD, the Ethiopian dam, being the first, the biggest. Julius Nyerere, Tanzanians just built Julius Nyerere at 2,000 megawatts, 2,200. Then us will be at 700. Then, of course, Kaluma Dam in Uganda at 600. And right now, Kaluma is at 400 megawatts already dispatching.
He says Kenya will leverage on public-private partnerships to enhance green energy generation. Benson Rioba, reporting for Lunchtime News.
The World Trade Organization has marked the entry into force of the milestone agreement on fisheries subsidies, the WTO's first multilateral agreement with environmental sustainability at its core. WTO Director General Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala received the instruments of acceptance from Brazil, Kenya, Vietnam and Tonga, bringing the total number of acceptances over the threshold of 2/3 of WTO members needed for the agreement to enter into force. Here are the details of this and other stories making headlines across the borders.
World Trade Organization Director General Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala has hailed the achievement as a landmark for global trade governance, noting that the achievement is not only for the planet and the oceans, but for the people everywhere, especially for the young generation. Adopted at the World Trade Organization 12th Ministerial Conference in June 2022, the agreement on fisheries subsidies set binding and multilateral rules to curb harmful fisheries subsidies. It prohibits subsidies for illegal, unreported and unregulated fishing, for fishing overfished stocks, and for fishing on the unregulated high seas. Meanwhile, after months of economic debate and mounting attacks from U.S. President Donald Trump, the U.S. Central Bank has cut interest rates. The Federal Reserve said it was lowering the target for its key lending rate by 0.25 percentage point. That will put it in a range of 4% to 4.25%, the lowest level since late 2022. The rate cut, which is Federal Reserve first rate cut since last December, is expected to kick off a series of additional reductions in the months ahead. But the move carries a warning about the economy, reflecting increased consensus at the Fed that has a stalling job market need a boost in the form of lower interest rates. Finally, as international gold prices continue to hit record highs, Dubai, a pivotal hub for global gold trade in the United Arab Emirates, has seen a significant surge in activity within its gold investment market. In terms of investment channels, Dubai has provided a variety of choices for investors, ranging from opening gold bank accounts and investing in financial products to purchasing gold bars and coins directly. A report from the Dubai Gold and Commodities Exchange shows that in the first 6 months of this year, its contract trading volume of a spot gold reached nearly $47 million, up 200% year over year, with an average daily turnover increase of 30%. Dubai has a close connection with India, which is one of the major gold consumption markets worldwide.
The 10th Africa Aquatic Zone 3 Junior, Senior and Masters Swimming Championships at the Kasarani Aquatic Center from the 16th to 19th of October this year. It will be the third time Kenya hosts the continental event, proving the nation's ability to organize international competitions with precision and flair. More than 15 countries are expected to compete in the championship, including South Africa, which will bring together Africa's top junior, senior and masters swimmers, all chasing medals, continental glory and crucial world aquatics ranking points. The championship has been sanctioned by World Aquatics and will also act as a qualifier for the World Aquatic Swimming Championships to be held in Beijing, China in 2026. Fund Managers Association has enhanced its sponsorship support for the second annual FMA Charity Golf Tournament set for the 3rd of October 2025 at Karen Country Club. The sponsorship has increased to 5 million shillings to support girls' education. Since last year's inaugural tournament, the sponsorship fund has supported the education of 20 underprivileged girls pursuing careers in finance. With the increased sponsorship, FMA expects to empower even more young women through scholarships, financial literacy initiatives, and the establishment of a permanent endowment fund targeting key areas such as fintech, green finance, and women in leadership. It was goals galore on match day 2 of the European Champions League, with holders PSG, 6-time champions Liverpool and 3-time winners Inter Milan all winning their opening league phase matches last night. Liverpool snatched a dramatic 3-2 win at Anfield, while PSG defeated Italian side Atalanta 4-0. Last season's losing finalist Inter Milan beat Ajax 2-0 in Amsterdam. In Munich, Bayern won 3-1 against visiting Chelsea as Hurricane scored twice, including a 27th minute penalty, while defender Trevor Chalobah scored an own goal to hand Bayern the win. Cole Palmer scored Chelsea's consolation.
That's good defending. Kane turns inside the area, goes down. Referee does not point to the spot.
And that's all the time we had for you this afternoon. Thank you so much for making time for us. This has been KBC Lunchtime News. I'm Doreen. Arange Lensa Odingo has been our sign language interpreter. Good afternoon.
sitatoroka tena.
Tutaenda hivyo nayo.
Kioko has you and Alex exactly where he wants you.
Kama ni mbaya